I got this war on my chest cause I don't follow like the rest and we ain't quick to say yes, yes ma'am. I got this war on my chest cause we don't follow like the rest and we ain't busy saying yes, yes sir.
We was once one color from the same place. Then the atoms kept splitting like the human race. Some of us stuck in the past trying to save face. Others don't give up, they taking up space. Use a whole waste. I played the whole tape, it was a cold case. Extra slice of the cornbread on this fat plate. Don't like my blunt flakes. Here's your edges back, you don't need this lace. The church versus state, the church in love with state. They about to copulate weight. I need to meditate. Evil gains control through secrets and lies. How you got a mama but no feminine side? Let me process, that's my birth defect. Label class reject. I guess that's respect. I call it suspect. First day was robbing the land, now we robbing the land. How you rob your mama and expect to stand? I guess rotting in the box was a part of the plan. I just hope this paper chase will work to follow the man. Let them they learn, yeah, buddy, it's the two man. Let them they learn, yeah, escape the quicksand. I got this war on my chest. I got this war on my chest, yeah. So, that was a song that we actually, that was my verse from War Chest that we created 3 years ago. Now, I've been following Dane for a long time. I think my Mida, shout out to Mida Snow, put me on the Dane Callaway probably about 5 years ago. Probably been about 5 years I've been following Dane. You know, I commend the work that Dane does, but as I become more conscious and more rooted in the consciousness that I have, I struggle with what the end goal is, you know. That's a struggle for me. What is the end goal? You know, I hear, you know, Dane use words like this person is the enemy, this person is the traitor. I mean, everything is interconnected when we look at this thing on a cosmic, universal, and even just in nature. You know, that last official day of winter, you know, is the traitor for spring to come in, because something got to turn on something in order for something different to manifest. You know what I'm saying? In order for summer to turn into fall, there has to be a change. You know, a gear has to shift. You know, and so just trying to look at how everything is connected and how everything fits together. Talking about enemies and traitors, like everybody has a role to play, you know. And I may not always like the role that another group of people or another set of ancestors have to play, but like I said in the beginning of that verse, we was once one color from the same place. Then the atoms kept splitting like the human race. Some of us stuck in the past trying to save face. Others don't give up. They taking up space. So you got some of us that stuck in the past trying to save face. And then you got others, they don't care. They just taking up space, you know. So I'm still trying to figure out, I know Dane Callaway is not the individual that's just taking up space, you know. But then you got the individual, another slice of cornbread on his fat plate, you know what I'm saying? You got that one, you know. I don't think Dane is that one either, So is it the stuck in the past trying to save face? You know what I'm saying? Or what we were and what our people did. And um, I think it's important to, you know, I think the visibility is important. Don't get me wrong. I think it's important to know that the slave narrative is not all there is, that, all of our ancestors did not come over here on slave ships. I'm sure that if there were any slave ships at all, we've definitely all been blended and mixed together by now. They don't call America the melting pot for nothing. Um, my concern is that, okay, so Black people or Negro people or the Niji people or these indigenous people, they wake up, they band together, they reclaim the land. Then what next? Because you cannot undo uh, centuries worth of indoctrination overnight. You cannot undo, and that's not the work that's being done. Like we're just now focusing on reiterating the conversation that we were already here. And a lot of us, when we were children, if you're 40, 40 and upwards, I think you heard that. I think you heard that, there was Indian in your family. Like we had that conversation. I think now it's the children that are in their 20s and 30s, especially who live like on the East Coast and the West Coast and stuff like that and further out. But if you live in the South, you probably know it's some Indian in your family, even in your 20s. Like, that conversation is still going on. And it's young indigenous people who know full and well what they are, who are choosing to identify as Black because Black is financially beneficial to them. Black may not be benefiting everybody, but just like there's always been elites and gatekeepers and boule type organizations, and those are the kind of beings who are meant to thrive in America. Because there are beings who are capitalizing off of the term Black, who are thriving off of the term Black. Black is making some people rich. There is wealth in that name for some people. So everybody who is banding together and use, there is some power in the term Blackness. People have made Black exploitation films, slavery. Like there's a whole genre. Like you can literally Google Black movies, and there's a whole genre coming up now. True, definitely believe that there's some Jewish or Caucasian people who are definitely making the most profit. Who are the biggest dollars going into their pockets. But I think sovereignty does not have a number on it. Like there's not sovereignty can't be quantified. So when a person know who they are and they choose to participate in the game and they don't forget who they are while they're playing the game is just about entertaining yourself and winning prizes. And so there are people who know full well who they are, walking in their sovereignty, who look like you and I. And for them, this game is just simply about winning prizes. It's about experiencing civilization and society in this way. They're here for it. They know who they are. Their culture has been passed down for decades and generations, so they know who they are. They're not struggling like a lot of Negro people, like a lot of Black people. They're not struggling. Like they know that it was passed down. They already know that. And so they're using the tools of the game because they can, because the aesthetic fits the bill. And so they're raising up their own colonies and tribes. And so this unity of raising up the Turtle Island people, or the Niji people, while I commend, the research and the knowledge and the dedication and the thoughtfulness, what's the end game? Because if you're raising up people to take back over a government to pretty much do the same things that have already been being done to us, first of all, our spirituality is corrupted with the one-sided religion, praying to a masculine deity, praying to a patriarch, suppressing the mother, suppressing the feminine side of ourselves, suppressing that other side of the coin, that yin yang energy. So our spirituality was first corrupted. Once your spirituality is corrupted, then your ethics are corrupted. Then when your ethics are corrupted, your politics are corrupted. So we have spiritual corruption, which corrupts the ethics. Now, understanding in spirituality, that's being able to look at both sides of the coin. That's being able to understand chaos and order. That's being able to understand dark and light. So once your ability to be able to see the full picture has been corrupted, now your ethics have been corrupted and your politics have been corrupted. And so reclaiming a nation or reclaiming a society for what? What's going to happen once the society is reclaimed? What's going to happen once the nation is reclaimed? Like, that's the question that I really have for Dane Callaway, because a lot of people who out here talking about, telling us, doing, trying to wake us up and stuff, I see through a lot of them. But with Dane Callaway, it's like, I don't really want to just like throw my hands up and just and not be able to connect with the stories that he tell anymore. But now it's starting to trigger me a little bit, because Dane, you have these same conversations, wanting to, you say that you're having these conversations because there's so many new people that are coming to your site. So are you more concerned about the new people than the old people? Are the old people not like where's the next level of organization happening? And what is that going to look like in terms of restoring our spirituality? What is that going to look like in terms of healing ourselves so that we can self-reflect and self-correct? What is that going to look like for us? Like how are we going to make amends for the missteps of our ancestors who have made billions of dollars off of the funeral industry, where we take bodies and put them inside of elaborate caskets instead of returning our bodies to the earth like nature intended? Everything in nature returns to earth, but we've gotten so egotistical and want to call everybody else a narcissist. But Negro people have become narcissists too. Just the whole culture is narcissist. When you have to have this elaborate funeral, if you live good, your death should be humble. Your death shouldn't be elaborate. Your death should be humble. Then you should go straight in the ground, straight back where you came from. And so much the earth has done for us. The earth has given us so much, has blessed us with so much bounty and given us so much. And we take so much from the earth. And then we have the audacity to take materials and put ourselves inside of these boxes and rot inside of these boxes instead of going straight back to that ground and letting them bugs and the worms and things feed on us so that we can replenish the soil so that the earth won't continue to turn on us. Something has to be done different about how we're maneuvering in this society. And see, that's the tribe I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ancestors who, because that's the tribe I come from, and I'm still trying to find my tribe. And it has nothing to do with this skin complexion. It has more so to do with honoring our connection to the land, honoring the land, and respecting the land. Now, I'm just one person. All I could do is acknowledge. I'm at this phase of acknowledgement. I try to acknowledge the things that I consume, the things that I interact with, the things that I engage with, whether they are inanimate or they are animated, whether it's living in the way that I'm living or whether it's not. I try my best to acknowledge. And when I leave this earth, I want a simple funeral. I don't want no box. I don't even want to be put in a pine box. I want to be in a thin sheet that you could see through. And I want to be put in the ground and I want to go back to the earth and I want to replenish the earth, and hopefully the earth will accept me. Hopefully mother will accept me. Hopefully I will be acceptable. But so many of our ancestors have cheated the land. We want to sit up here and talk about the immigrants coming over here and taking the land and stealing the land. Well, if we didn't have no respect for it, if we broke our covenant with the land, if we started mistreating the land, then why should the immigrants not have the land? We have to do better. We have to do something different. We have to remember who we were. We have to remember who our ancestors were. And until we get back to this place of healing our spirituality, our understanding of ourselves, our understanding of who we are and where we come from, until we do that work, do we deserve to be stewards of the land? Do we deserve to be guardians of the land and keepers of the land? This is not a long video, but I want to say this. The bill is coming due. And nobody can point no fingers. Nobody can condemn. Civil rights is not just about what happened to the Negro. Civil rights started before the colonization. Civil rights have been going on since the beginning of time, and it's been groups trying to tell other groups what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. It's other groups trying to impose their will on others. And a clear example of that in American society is how the womb bearer has been treated, how the womb bearer has been diminished and degraded in our spirituality, diminished and degraded in our ethics, diminished and degraded in our politics. And as a direct result, anything that emulates the womb bearer or the foremother is persecuted and mocked and condemned for having an overt connection with fathers. And so until amends has been made for the misdeeds that have been done to the womb bearer and to the two-spirited being, the womb bearer and the two-spirited being, We got to be willing to have that conversation. We have to be willing to have a conversation about how we got here and what can we do to undo what is. So, we talk about take back Turtle Island and take back the land and immigrants getting this and immigrants getting that. Well, from what I can see, is that our ancestors stopped valuing the land. From what I can see, is our ancestors was tired of the responsibility of caring for the land. And they wanted to have different experiences. And I'm not judging them for what they wanted to do. Because I don't know, I might have done the same dumb stuff or the same different stuff had I been in their shoes. So I'm not here to judge my ancestors for what they did. I'm just here to say that look how well it's worked out. I can't condemn them for what they did because I did not live in this body during those times. So I can't judge them for what they did because they was just trying to do what they had to do for the time that they was in. So I'm not here to judge, I'm not here to condemn them. But I am going to say we see how that's worked out. And if we don't correct the missteps of our ancestors, then his story is doomed to repeat itself. And so we have to look at what are some things that we've done to offend nature. What are some things, and we always hear about homosexuality being an offense to nature and a crime against nature. But I think it's a crime against nature to bury yourself in a $20,000 box and you've been stuffing your face with fruit and vegetables your whole life. I think that's an abomination. I think that's a sin. I think it's an abomination to go in a church and fall on your knees and pray to a man when you sat in the womb of your mother or some feminine form for 9 months. I think that's an abomination. I think it's an abomination to keep electing the same kind of men in the politics, but not to allow a woman to sit in the highest office in the country unless she mirrors the face of an immigrant. Unless she mirrors the face of a foreigner. I think that's an abomination. So while you think that my being is an abomination, while you think that my being is a sin, I think that there are multiple things that a lot of people in this nation are doing that are abominations. And we need to talk about these abominations. So before you could come for me, make sure that you didn't inspected your tree. Make sure your tree is inspected. Because the same way you side-eyeing me, just know I'm side-eyeing you. Now, let me get my candle, because I ain't about to talk all day about this. But when we start talking about abominations, I got my own abominations that I want to talk about. You ain't the only one that got abominations. I got abominations too. Ooh. Let me play another song before I go. I'm gonna play this one, then I'm gonna roll out. I don't want to hear my words. Lelem. We can both live on the side of her and him. We can both live on the side of her and him. It all started with a bang. I'm going out with a bang. And if you lucky, you can bang. Bang like our bodies when they intertwine. Bang like a bullet didn't spare the ride. He thought he took your life, but he saw me. God is God, hey. God is God, hey. God is God. It's two parts of this hair. It's two parts of this hair. It's two parts of this hair. We hurt and then we heal. We destroy and we rebuild. You can pause before with fear. But of one thing, let's be clear. The bang represents the violence. Sometimes what's worse is the silence. People number one reason for abandoning God is how can he be so quiet in the face of these eyes? Then some follow blindly like invasion of pies. Making cake by the pound, money by the wise, poison for bribes. Trade truth for lies. Then when a big bang comes, they want to get scared, but the whole world don't worry. We know we don't die. Bang like the bullet didn't spare the ride. He thought he took your life, but he saw me. God is God, hey. God is God. It's two parts of this hair. It's two parts of his hair. It's two parts of his hair. It's two parts of his hair. Wood grip to the brain. I got one more verse I want to hear. One more.
I stand upright and deadlift, lifting the dead with schizophrenic ancestors in my.
Don't get beat it. This the last verse. Car insurance from Liberty Mutual. I customize everything. Yay, beat it. Don't get moody, it's okay. We sold us. So we sold us. See, that's the truth. That's what really happened.
So we sold us. They was going in it anyway.
So we sold us.
We sold us. We sold us. With reality, so we sold us. We didn't want to sell what they told us.
We can die right now without any robot. And tell us.
In service for our tuition, baby sold us. Replicated styles, fresh fashions, and sold us.
Every food of the good life.
Remember my tribute, so we sold us. How much you make an hour if you sold us?
What's the per capita for kid manufacture? We sold us. We sold us.
We sold us.
Sold us.
We sold us. We wouldn't like the
Anyway,
we sold us. We sold us.
We crossed the line and made a move. However, respect over two.
Don't get moody, it's okay. We sold
My verse, here you go.
We sold us. We sold us.
Still peddling trap rap, but he ain't there no more. It's how we get that paper, yeah, he about that dough. Feed your fans lies cause you don't want them to grow. Long as they buy your product, you don't care if they poll. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Claim you love God, but it's the money you trust. It's the blind leading the blind. Everybody lost. Somebody try to wake you nail them to a cross. Looking to be paid, I want the status of a boss. If it speak half truth, then the religion is false. Government got you scared to call fake news the media ball. How they stole your culture when you told them to cost your ancestors. They sleep in minds, they turn and toss. Watching everything with the eyes of a hawk. We all slip up and don't walk the walk. Stay true to yourself and acknowledge your fault. Stop looking for a bad guy when times get tough. Sometimes looking in the mirror can be pretty tough. You beat yourself down, you don't think you enough. Get rich or die trying, Hollywood or bust. Can't be mad at yourself when we selling fake us.
It's time to own up. I mean, this all I know. I came from this. Where the beginning kisses the end. I mean, this all I know. Where the old me, for real, like old myself from being free. I sold the. I don't know anything about set. The rest is free. We sold the.
In pursuit of the good life, trying to keep up with the tide. Anyway, make a move. How we respect going through. It's okay. Yeah. See, that's that moment when you accept what is. When you accept what's being, so that you can change what shall be. So I light this candle in representation of the Trinity, past, present, and future, the mother and the father that live in me, that helps me to create and birth and build and heal, past, present, and future. The past helps me to be more present when I study it. The past helps me to be more present in the present. See, this is my past. When you look around this room, you see my past. These are my hieroglyphs. These are my stories. These are the stories that remind me of who I am, whose I am, my duality, my wholeness, the infiniteness of my being. The past helps us to be more present in the present so that we can be better prepared for the future. This candle is lit to acknowledge all of the ancestors who are in transition. Earth, air, fire, water, I am your daughter. Earth, air, fire, water, I am your son. Earth, air, fire, water, we are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Amen, amen. Iangani iyanko kalukalo, which means I am a child of God, Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. And in times that are coming, I want you to remember these words, this phrase that was created by me and my daughter to rebuke. Sometimes you got to rebuke yourself, but to rebuke intentions that are counterproductive to your purpose. Anything that is interfering with your purpose. Anything that is trying to come against you. Gualala feet. Und babosa. Yaktao. So if you feel like somebody bothering you, remember that. Gualala feet. Und babosa. These is bones from a meal. I made some turkey wings and collard greens Friday. And the meal was so tasty. And I shared it with a lot of people that I care for on my job. And I wanted to remember that meal. And so I made these earrings from the bones. See, I don't have the power to change the system, but I do have the power to acknowledge things that are sacrificed in order to maintain this system. And that's what Mother wants from us. She wants acknowledgement. And acknowledgement doesn't cost that much. It just takes you exercising your gifts to make sure that you create space to testify about how good she's been to you. Amen, a woman. I love y'all. Down but down that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning in Gani Iyanko Kalukalo, which again means I am a child of God. Goddess. And if I am, you know you are.